Meaninglessness inhibits fullness of life and is therefore equivalent to illness. Meaning makes a great many things endurable, perhaps everything, said Carl Jung in 1965. The pervasive influence of science, and in its degenerate form, scientism, with its materialism, objectivism, mechanism, denigration of intangibles, and the loss of connection with the religious function, have led to a fifth feature of our current reality: psychological problems. Narcissism, or the need to feel special, the prevalence of addictions, multiple forms of neurosis, the fragmentation of modern consciousness. These are some of the psychological consequences of the loss of meaning in our time. Jung was explicit that we are living undeniably in a period of the greatest restlessness, nervous tension, confusion, and disorientation of outlook. Among my patients from many countries, all of them educated persons, there is a considerable number who came to see me not because they were suffering from a neurosis, but because they could find no meaning in their lives or were torturing themselves with questions which neither our philosophy nor our religion could answer. In our society, there is a heavy emphasis on material possessions, money, goods, and the physical aspects of life, which Jungian analyst Marion Woodman refers to as the bread and butter world. She emphasizes that when life is reduced to just these elements, it becomes devoid of meaning and unfulfilling. Jung echoed this sentiment, stating that the more an individual focuses on the superficial possessions while neglecting what is truly important, the less fulfilling their life becomes, leading to feelings of limitation, envy, and jealousy. Cultural materialism is the belief that happiness and fulfillment are achieved through the accumulation of wealth and possessions. In today's world, we are continually bombarded with new gadgets and luxuries, each promising to add significance to our lives. Owning luxury items, like a high-end car or an expensive watch, often elevates one's status in the eyes of others. However, Jung argued that this relentless pursuit of meaning through material goods actually obstructs the deeper, more authentic quest for meaning in our lives. Carl Jung believed that the purpose of life was to discover and fulfill our individual potential, which he called self-realization. But how did he propose one could find meaning and fulfill their potential? For Plato, there were two realities: the world we live in and the non-physical realm where the forms exist. These forms, for Plato, are pre-existing ideal templates or blueprints. They include characteristics like roundness, softness, hardness, greenness, blackness, and so on. Sigmund Freud, Austrian neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis, believed our unconscious mind consisted of events and memories that were repressed and often forgot about. But Jung believed in the universality of themes, patterns, stories, and images across different cultures through his observation of these images in dreams of his patients, and developed his theory of the collective unconscious and archetypes. Feelings, thoughts, memories, rituals, myths. With his theory of the collective unconscious, Carl Jung argued that these common elements of humanity are a kind of mental heritage. As a social group, we inherit these meanings. According to Jung's theory, these meanings somehow impact our lives and emotions. Just as the human body represents a whole museum of organs, each with a long evolutionary history behind it, so we should expect to find that the mind is organized in a similar way. It can no more be a product without history than is the body in which it exists. By history, I do not mean the fact that the mind builds itself up by conscious reference to the past through language and other cultural traditions. I'm referring to the biological, prehistoric, and unconscious development of the mind in archaic man, whose psyche was still close to that of the animal. Man and His Symbols, Carl Jung. The collective unconscious was more like a starry night, or the primordial chaos that archetypes emerge from. It's the mental inheritance that all humans share. It's like a cloud database that stores the essence of our human experience, in which we all access with our unconscious mind. These elements are constituted by certain elements known as archetypes. These are something akin to units of knowledge, instinctual images and thoughts about our environment. What comes to your mind when you think of a hero? Jung's hero archetype is defined as an individual who embarks on a transformative journey, overcomes adversity, and experiences personal growth and self-discovery. The archetype of the hero can be found in myths and stories from around the world, such as the Greek hero Hercules or the Chinese hero Mulan. These archetypes represent common human experiences and emotion, such as the struggle for power, the search for identity, or the desire for love and connection. You see, archetypes transcend culture and time. They represent universal patterns and themes that reside deep in the human psyche. They are fundamental structures of the collective unconscious that shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. By analyzing these components of Jung's conceptual framework, you gain insight into the hidden forces that shape human behavior and the psyche in both personal and collective dimensions. I use the term individuation to denote the process by which a person becomes a psychological individual, that is, a separate, indivisible unity or whole. Carl Jung. The process of individuation typically unfolds in several key stages: confrontation with the shadow, encounter with Anima, Animus, integration of the wise old man, woman, assimilation of the self, which we will dive into in a future video. Archetypes play an integral role in the process of individuation. They serve as the blueprints for understanding human experiences and can guide you toward self-realization. In Jungian psychology, common archetypes include the persona, which is the mask you present to the world, the shadow, or the disowned parts of yourself, the anima and animus, the opposite gender aspects within your psyche, and the self, the archetype representing unity and wholeness. For those who wish to begin on the conscious path of individuation, the first step is always the same. We must, as Jung put it, divest the self of the false wrappings of the persona in the relations between the ego and the unconscious. The persona, of course, is our social mask we wear to fit into society. As a person grows more conscious of the diverse elements within their psyche, each driven by different motivations and desires, they approach the process of individuation. This journey is transformative, requiring the integration of several facets of one's personality to reach a state of wholeness. Essentially, individuation is about achieving balance between conscious and unconscious aspects of the self. The engagement with these archetypes facilitates your individuation process, as each one brings forth critical insights that contribute to your growth. It's akin to the principles of alchemy, where the transformation of base metals to gold metaphorically represents the journey to personal wholeness. When you explore Carl Jung's concept of archetypes, you uncover patterns and themes that transcend individual experiences, finding their way into the collective fabric of culture. These archetypal symbols and characters appear consistently across various cultural arenas, including literature, religion, and art, revealing universal aspects of the human experience. Archetypes play a pivotal role in motivating human behavior. Each archetype represents a universal theme or desire that resonates with our innate human nature. They tap into our deepest aspirations and needs, compelling us to seek fulfillment in various areas of our lives. By embodying these archetypes, we are driven to achieve our goals and overcome obstacles, guided by the underlying motivations they symbolize. Each individual possesses a dominant archetype that influences their personality and behaviors. Identifying your dominant archetype enables you to gain a deeper understanding of your strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. It provides a framework for self-reflection and self-awareness, allowing you to navigate life with greater insight and purpose. By recognizing and embracing your dominant archetype traits, you can harness your unique qualities and cultivate personal growth.